Seiter, I apologize. I was just thinking Josh Seiter helped win the election for Daddy Trump. He helped split the rainbow vote so much. I wonder if he even realizes that. And then I said, how'd he do that? And she said, well, 1/3 of us were telling him he's not a woman and never will be. 1/3 of us were saying, yeah, queen, be you. And 1/3 of us were trying to figure out if he was really trans and questioning how weird it was. We were fighting with each other. Kamala lost at least 1/3 of the gays just from that. And he was masterful answering comments.
Well, I appreciate that. And I also noticed that also. I said to myself, if they say I'm a woman, then I can beat them on the merits of this argument by saying, no, I'm not a woman. This is a troll. I'm still a man, just like every other trans woman. We're all just men claiming to be women. And as soon as I take this makeup off, it's very evident I'm still a man. Nothing transformative happened. And to those people that say that I'm not a woman, that come from the LGBTQ community, they are also proving my point, because they are saying that man right there does not magically become a woman just because he threw lipstick on, which is the argument I'm making. Neither I nor any other man magically becomes a woman because we throw a dress on. And so I think her point is fantastic. No matter which way the people went, Josh is a woman, he's not a woman, they're proving my point, that this is all ridiculous and none of it makes sense. And I really appreciate her words, and I'm glad that my experiment was kind of thought-provoking and got a lot of people thinking.
We live in a society where a lot of people are acting, right? By that, I mean, they're posturing or they're going for an image. A friend of mine would always be like, hey, just because you put on chaps and spurs and a cowboy hat and a 6-shooter doesn't mean you're a cowboy. A cowboy doesn't wake up in the morning and before he goes out, look in the mirror and be like, okay, I look like a cowboy, I'm ready. He just gets dressed. He wears the chaps to protect himself from bushes when he's riding the horse. The hat's for the sun, right? The spurs are to make the horse go. All of those things are like practical things for his job. He's not pretending to be a cowboy. And the same thing, I trip on, when the whole gender thing came up, I was tripping because especially in the schools when they're like trying to introduce this word gender to people like it's real, because I've never had a gender. Ever. If we agree that a gender is a socially constructed identity around your sexuality. Like for me, it's just like I pee standing up. I like boobs. And then there's some things my mom taught me, stand up when someone enters the room, hold doors open for people, take your job's to take the trash out. But I never identified it with being, I never think, hey, today I need to act like a man. Ever.
Well, sex is immutable, right? And so they came up, they know that. And so the left came up.
What does that mean, immutable?
Immutable means it's unchanging. It never changes. It's not fluid. It just is. And it's a fact of life and it's a part of reality. The left does not like reality. They don't like facts. They don't like things that don't change. So what they did, they're very good at this semantical game. They use verbal legerdemain and say, we're going to take this concept of gender. Oh, gender actually, we have decided is mutable. You can change it. It's actually fluid. And it's actually our gender that's important. And instructive in all of this. And our gender is a social construct which we decide by articulating a personal identity. And only I can articulate my personal identity. So if I articulate that my gender identity is female, I magically, through the vessel of gender, become a woman. And so they go, don't listen to sex. Sex isn't instructive on this. All that matters is gender, and you decide your gender. And I go, well, how convenient. You have now changed it where anyone can become anything they want. All they have to do is articulate a different gender than their biological sex. And magically that trumps their biological sex in your book, and that makes them a woman. And of course, everyone knows that's not true. Your biological sex trumps anything, including this concept of gender that they have hijacked. And they don't like that. And that's why they try to erase terms like biology and sex. And instead they say assigned sex at birth or sex listed on medical documents. Well, That sex is listed on those medical documents because it's your sex. That sex was assigned to you because it's your sex, and it's immutable. You can't change it, and it doesn't matter what gender identity or expression you want to articulate. And so they're very good at this game, and they've co-opted the medical communities, woke politicians who want votes, in a media that only cares about sowing dissension and acrimony. And they've now created this entire little game. And I think most people during the election spoke up and said, we're sick of these games. We believe what our eyes tell us. We know men don't magically become women. We know you can't just change your sex by uttering a phrase. And this is all stupid. We're not buying it, and we're done with this little game. And I think that's why the Democrats lost. And I think that's why most people are kind of rejecting woke ideology, because none of it makes sense. None of it passes a smell test, and it's a bunch of bullshit, and everybody knows it.
Do they know it?